morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Chew on This Travel. Today I want to talk about my top 10 recommendations for future excursions that you may be considering. As you know, Mike and I have traveled quite extensively. Haven't quite recorded as much as we should have, but hey, this is a new adventure. If you're interested in Mike's top 10, then check on the links below and you will be able to see his video where he has his 10 recommendations. You will notice, of course, that we have different recommendations. Some of them are the same, but some of them are very different for different reasons. Mike very much likes the excursions, the mountain hiking, scenery, as I do as well, but I also really enjoy the cultures and the environments where we get to sort of get ourselves into those cultures, right? Go down the paths less traveled, if you will, as well as Mike, right? We complement each other on that, so it works out really well when we travel. So let's start my top 10. And I did cheat a little bit. There's a couple of them where I've kind of combined, so you'll probably understand why I did that, but you know, technically they could be two countries that I've combined into one. But having said that, let's get through the top 10 and my reasons why. So number 10, Peru. Peru is an amazing country, amazing people. The scenery is phenomenal. Outside of even doing Machu Picchu, right? Like there's so much more to Peru than Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is an amazing place to visit. I had studied it through school. So being able to walk up and have that aha moment was incredible for me. It was very different than what I expected. I had an overwhelming sense that we did not belong there, to appreciate the historical significance of that structure. I just felt like we were intruding into something, you know. That's one thing that's really unfortunate about tourists versus travelers, and the phrase in terms of, you know, don't leave your footprint behind, right? Respect the lands that you're walking on, respect the people and the cultures from, you know, ancestries. So it was very odd for me. I'm very happy that I went and I saw it, but I was very sensitive to the energy that location brings. I would really interested to hear what you experienced when you saw Machu Picchu. You know, I saw anyway, people going in, taking the picture there, been there, done that. Where for myself, I actually took a moment to meditate. It was just a very, very surreal moment in travel. And because of that, maybe it should be a little bit higher on my list, but there's just so much in this world that it's really hard. I had troubles trying to come up with my top 10, to be quite honest. Anywho, moving on. Number 9. This is on my list. It is definitely not on Mike's list. He did not enjoy visiting this country, and that country is Bali. I loved Bali. I would like to go back to Bali. I can understand why it's starting to fall off of people's lists because of the abundance of tourists that are flocking to the island. And like I said, that in itself has some negative impact, not always positive. But the people of Bali were incredible. The food was delicious. And the sceneries I thought were amazing. Yes, we saw probably every temple that was on that island. But I personally love Eastern philosophies and beliefs more than Western. So I really enjoyed Bali. We also went out to the Gili Islands. Really loved the vibe of Gili tea, even though it is a bit of a party island. But beautiful beaches and, like, again, incredible food, incredible people. So definitely Bali's on my list, contrary to Mike. Next would be Brazil. This one was a little bit different for us. We actually did Brazil as a cruise, which is not necessarily our style of traveling in any way, shape, or form. But it served a purpose for this trip. Unfortunately, what we didn't realize when we did this trip is that the cruise was predominantly locals. And the reason that they take cruises is because then they're able to purchase things at a tax-free rate, which we did not know. We were one of 5 couples, so 2 out of 10, who spoke English on this ship. Otherwise, it was all in Portuguese. Now, having said that, the service was still incredible. We had some really great day trips at every port that we went to. And it is a lovely, lovely country. And without question, I would love to go back to Brazil and explore it a little bit more. But we'll get to that in the future. It's not on our next, say, top 10 list of where we want to visit. So Brazil was amazing. Again, the people were lovely. Not quite what I expected, in the sense of, not even sure in what sense, but it just wasn't really what I expected. And I guess that's the wonderful thing about going to a new place, right? And it's best not to have expectations, because then you're always surprised and in awe of amazing things and you're not disappointed. So that's definitely the way we like to travel. So anyway, number 8 was Brazil. Number 7, Rapanui. Again, after studying all of the heads, if you will, it was amazing for me to see it. It was just a short stint that we were there. We did it as an add-on to another destination, which I will get to farther up on my list. And it was amazing. I mean, again, the food was incredible. We had some really wonderful experiences. The people, very loving and open arms, and really wanted to ensure that you had the best experience on their island. And we did. And the weather was, of course, incredible too. From there, number 6, for me, again, not on Mike's list, would be India. Now, we only traveled through the northern part of India. We did a private tour where we hired a company, and we selected the cities we wanted to go to and the hotels that we wanted to stay at. So it was very much, we tailored the trip to what it is we wanted to do and explore. And again, it was northern India. We did have an unfortunate situation where we were there over New Year's Eve, and we were in fact robbed. All of our cash was taken from us, from hotel staff, while we were celebrating New Year's Eve. And as shocking and disappointing as that was, of course we went through the varying sort of degrees of emotions, if you will. Excuse me. One of which would be anger. We ultimately ended up getting all of our money back, because our company refused to pay for the hotel stay. So basically the hotel didn't get paid, and that was their contribution back to us, as well as even taking money out of the safe to give back to us, because it was their staff that stole the money. And then at the end of the day, after we kind of went through all of our emotions, you know, I remember saying to Mike, and we had a friend traveling with us as well, and just said, listen, hopefully this money went to a family, of course, less fortunate than we are. And hopefully it's going to feed that family for a month, right? Trying to look at the positive. We were able to, you know, go to a machine and take out additional funding to compensate for the loss that we had. Lessons learned. You know, trying to be optimistic that, you know, not that I'm supporting or promoting that this is okay, but to us, the amount of money that was taken, yes, significant enough, but on the scale of, you know, our lifestyle and stuff here in North America as opposed to theirs, this probably went a lot farther than it would for us. So hopefully it went to good. I'd like to believe that it did. I would really like to continue in India and travel to the south, where it's a little bit more of a relaxed environment, you know, the founding of yoga, going to an ashram, something like that I would really love to do. And in the future, I definitely will. We will travel back to India. But definitely on my list, right? So I've got that at number 6. Number 5. So this is where I'm kind of combining 2 countries into one, not disrespecting either of those countries. I realize they are independent and very different in their own way, but also very similar. So for me, number 5 would be Chile and Argentina, where we went through Patagonia. The scenery is incredible. Doing the W circuit for hiking was a wonderful experience. The mountain ridges are just phenomenal. Like, I can't say enough about the scenery. Like, it is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful country. The people, oh God, they're just so amazing too. I mean, I don't think there's anywhere we've even been, even when we've been robbed and, you know, had some situations in India, the people are still lovely. I can't criticize, right? I mean, I love these cultures. I love meeting new people and exploring their cultures, and to criticize that or to say that, you know, this culture is horrible, I can't imagine doing that. So you're going to hear me repeat how lovely the people are, because I really think at the soul, we're all lovely people. So Chile and Argentina definitely is, you know, number 5. Moving on from there, we have Nepal, which I think is probably number 2 on Mike's top 10, if I'm not mistaken. Love Nepal. done the Everest hike. We've done a couple. We went to Moose Dam in a previous. There's the videos on that on down below that you can check out. Very remote region of Nepal. Very different, going to see these monasteries that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. And of course, Mike, if you watch his top 10, you will discover that he's been to India much more than I have. He tends to extend additional trip to India after we do an excursion, just because I have to get home back to work and he's got the season off. So he has that luxury. So, and it's something he loves. So by all means, I support that and I encourage him to do it, which he's actually going to be doing very soon, doing another excursion there. So he can talk a lot more about India because he's seen so many more ranges and regions of India than Nepal than I have. But yeah, Kathmandu, I remember the first time we arrived in Kathmandu, for a lot of people I could see that being a culture shock because they haven't experienced anything like it. And it is, for many, it is a culture shock without question. I mean, there's even a little hint of it for us, even though we've experienced something similar in other countries, i.e. India. But what was interesting is Kathmandu, if you've not been to Kathmandu, again, I would love to hear your comments if you have been to Kathmandu and what you found Kathmandu was like. So please comment below. But Kathmandu has an energy all of its own. And you may not get it right away. I know I didn't. I didn't quite get it when we first arrived. So we were there for about 3 or 4 days. And then we headed off to do the Everest trek. When we came back, that's when everything clicked. It was like, I get Kathmandu now. And we just felt ourselves absorbed into that city. It's an incredible city. Incredible. So many amazing restaurants, shops. The local people will they'll give you the shirt off of their back if they know that's going to help you and it's something that is needed. Kathmandu, it's incredible, really, truly incredible. And I mean, the other villages, Pokhara, so many places are just absolutely wonderful. And the people, I mean, they will always be in my heart. Moving on from that, my number 3, so we're heading into top 3. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit challenging. Nepal could very well be number 3, but because we were just recently here in Madeira, it kind of fell into my top 3. It's an incredible island. The infrastructure of Madeira, kudos to you. I've never seen anything so brilliantly executed as they have in Madeira. I mean, the tunnels, it's like, you know, the roads, the infrastructure, people know how to drive. It's phenomenal. We were actually quite surprised by it, of how amazing the infrastructure of Madeira is. Now, having said that, again, people were incredible. The food was wonderful. There was so much to do on this island that literally a 1 week didn't do it for us. There were so many hikes, treks, sights to see. We barely scratched the surface. So it's definitely going to be on a place to return to, just not within the next year. We're looking at a couple different options. Definitely a location to retire to as an expat. That's on the top of our list. Wow. Just a beautiful, beautiful island. And the climate is just perfect, right? It doesn't get too cold and it's not too hot. It's just this nice, in a range of comfort. Moving on to number 2, and this was difficult. This is Mike's number 1. Then I can understand why it's Mike's number 1, and hopefully you'll understand why I've put it into number 2. But that would be Antarctica. This, without question, was a trip of a lifetime. We did it in terms of, top-notch. Traveled with Lindblad and National Geographic. We did an excursion with them. We were on a ship of less than 100 people. We were able to, step on land, if you will, do it in a way that was very environmentally conscious. And I realized people are going to be very critical of that. And there's a lot who are like, no, man should not be going down there to preserve nature. And I get that too, but if you can do it and do it where you're not causing damage, or at least minimize your footprint in comparison to other ways of traveling through that area. So be very, very cautious of who you're traveling with would be my recommendation. And it's not for everybody, and I get that. We were on a ship with a captain who was phenomenal. She wanted to make sure that we got the best out of every single day that we were down there. And weather was incredible. So incredible that we were actually able to push the envelope in terms of how far south we could go. And it was the farthest she had ever gone. So that in itself was like quite a monumental moment. We all, raised a glass of champagne for that. It was incredible. Seeing the penguins and the whales and, it is beautiful. And it's a challenge to say, like, why isn't it on as my top one? But I think you'll understand, or hopefully I can, explain why. And it's just because I love culture, and Antarctica is very much a scenic type of excursion. You're not embedding yourself into a culture per se. Hopefully that makes sense. So moving on to my number one is Vietnam, Thailand. I love Southeast Asia. Like, I love, 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 love Southeast Asia. To me, number one is Vietnam and Thailand. Again, one of those combinations. I couldn't quite pick just either or country, so I put them in the bucket together. I love, 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 love Southeast Asia. Like, I love Southeast Asia. I would pack up today and move to Southeast Asia if I could. I would move to Vietnam. No questions. I love it. I love the people. I love the food. I love the scenery. Everything about the culture. I absolutely love it. And, for some people, I could see when they're in, like, sort of cities like Hanoi, where there's, like, thousands of scooters going down the street, and you're kind of like, how am I going to cross this street? It was explained to us, like, it's like water. It's like a drop of water on a window pane. Just literally step out into the traffic. Just step out. Have faith that these cyclists, these motorbikes, scooters, if you will just flow around you. And they do. And it's literally very poetic in the way that it happens. It's incredible. Again, so to me, Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, I could throw in there as well. Absolutely love it. So that's my top 10. Quickly, starting at number one and working backwards. Number one is Vietnam, Thailand. Number two, Antarctica. Number three, Madeira. 4, Nepal. 5, Chile, Argentina, Patagonia region. Number 6, India. 7 is Rapanui. Sorry for those who don't know. Rapanui, that's Easter Island. I should have mentioned that earlier. Number 8 is Brazil. Number 9 is Bali. And number 10 is Peru. Now, having said all that, we're about to take off on another excursion. And there's a very good chance that these 2 locations that we're traveling to will immediately go into my top 10. But technically haven't been there yet, so I didn't want to put it in there. But I guarantee they're going to be in my top 10. So we're heading off to Singapore. And then we're heading off to the Philippines. And doing some island hopping there for an extended period of time. There's a couple honorable mentions I'd also like to make, and that would be Bhutan. Bhutan is a beautiful country. Have no regrets visiting there. Of course, going up to Tiger's Nest was, a bucket list dream for me. So that was an incredible journey to go there. And then another item I would do as an honorable mention, because again, trying to pick 10 was just so hard, would be Jordan and going to Petra. Again, after studying that aha moment when you're coming, through the canyon, if you will, or whatever you call it, and you just come around, and then all of a sudden, there's Petra right in front of you. That picture perfect that you see everywhere on social media, in the movies. It really, it's worth 1,000 words, which I can't come up with right now. It's probably, so maybe for me it's speechless. But that would be it. Like, I think for my honorable mentions, I'm sure there's more, and there will be more. Looking at countries into the future in the next year, definitely we're looking at doing Croatia. So I would love to get your feedback on Croatia, what your recommendations are, where to go, what to see, what to do. That would be really, really great to hear from you. I said we're doing Singapore and the Philippines. Again, I'm not going to spill the beans on that, because we're doing a few exciting things when we're down there. We're not just going to land in one location and stay there. We really are going to be hopping around and exploring as much as we can in the extended time that we are there. So again, if you even have recommendations on that, I would love to hear you below. So thank you for joining me on this quick little top 10 video. Love to hear your feedback. Please show some love, like and subscribe, give us recommendations. We're still trying to figure out this whole venue here, if you will, of the YouTube world. We're getting there, and we love your support. We really, really love the support that you guys provide us. So please enjoy, provide feedback. Love to hear from you. Tell us where you're off to next and why and what you're looking forward to. Share some stories. Thank you. Have yourselves a great day. And again, thank you for joining. Bye.